The tale of Lilith is one that has long fascinated and bewildered people for centuries, as she stands as a figure shrouded in both mystery and mythology. To many, she is known as Adam's first wife, created even before Eve. This ancient legend of Lilith paints a picture of a woman of immense power, independence, and defiance, someone who stands apart from the traditional roles women were expected to play. Before we dive in, we'd love your support. Please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell. Your kind gesture will provide us with the motivation and encouragement we need to keep creating engaging content. The beginning of Lilith's story is rooted in the biblical creation narrative. In Genesis chapter 1, it is written, "God created man in his own image, male and female, he created them." Here, it is suggested that man and woman were created simultaneously, equal in their formation from the earth. This woman is thought to be Lilith, a figure who emerged long before Eve, who would appear later in Genesis chapter 2. But what caused Lilith's story to veer so drastically from the familiar path of Adam and Eve? It begins with her refusal to submit. When Adam sought dominance over Lilith during their union, she resisted, declaring that they were created as equals. She would not be subservient to him, even in the most intimate of acts. This defiance sparked a monumental conflict. Adam, feeling entitled to control, grew frustrated by her refusal, and the tension escalated. Lilith, a being of strong will, chose exile over submission. In a moment of liberation, she invoked the ineffable name of God and ascended from the Garden of Eden, abandoning her place beside Adam. This departure, however, was not the end of her story, but the beginning of her transformation into something much darker. Adam, now left alone, lamented his solitude. His prayers reached the heavens, and God, moved by his plea, sent 3 angels, Senua, Sansanoi, and Sangala, to find Lilith and bring her back. The angels scoured the earth until they found Lilith near the turbulent sea, where, according to legend, the waters would later drown the Egyptians during the Exodus. Despite the divine order, Lilith refused to return. Her newfound freedom was too precious to surrender. The angels warned her of dire consequences if she persisted in her rebellion, the death of 100 of her children each day. Still, Lilith stood firm. Yet a deal was struck. Lilith agreed that she would not harm infants protected by amulets bearing the names of the 3 angels. In return, she accepted the tragic loss of her children, sealing her fate as both a protector and destroyer. The Zohar, foundational to the Kabbalistic tradition, delves deep into the mystical relationship between male and female energies in the universe. One of the key figures in this tradition is Lilith, who represents the dark, destructive side of the divine feminine. The Zohar describes Lilith as a seductress, often partnering with Samael, an angel of death or a dark figure of temptation, to lead men astray. This duality, Lilith as both a motherly figure and a demonic force, continues to evolve in Jewish mystical thought. The Zohar paints a detailed picture of how Lilith plays a critical role in the metaphysical world. She is said to dwell in desolate places, often associated with wilderness and chaos, and to strike at moments of vulnerability. Yet at the same time, the Zohar also suggests that Lilith, like many other figures in ancient mythologies, cannot simply be labeled as good or evil. Instead, she represents a more complex and nuanced figure, someone who embodies untamed female sexuality, independence, and rebellion. According to the Kabbalistic tradition, Lilith's relationship with Adam was not just about physical equality, but also about the larger cosmic order. Adam's rejection of her and her subsequent flight from Eden symbolized a break in the harmonious balance between male and female forces. Lilith's refusal to submit represents her resistance to being confined within the traditional boundaries of female roles in society. This tension between control and chaos, order and disorder, continues to define her character throughout mystical literature. In some of the Kabbalistic writings, Lilith's energy is necessary for the proper balance of the universe. Despite her role as a dangerous figure, Kabbalists acknowledge that her dark energy is required to balance out the light. The Zohar also emphasizes the importance of controlling or channeling Lilith's power. This is where the ancient tradition of using amulets or incantations comes into play. Amulets with the names of the angels, Senyoi, Sansanoi, and Samanjaloth, were used to protect against Lilith's destructive powers, especially during childbirth. These protective measures were believed to prevent Lilith from harming newborns, which was a central fear in many ancient communities. The story of Lilith as both a destroyer and a protector highlights the delicate balance between creation and destruction and the fear of the unknown. In this context, she also takes on the form of a liminal figure, one who exists on the threshold between worlds. Lilith is not fully human, nor fully divine, not fully of the light, nor fully of the dark. This ambiguous nature has allowed her myth to transcend millennia, evolving and adapting as different cultures and religious traditions interpreted her story in various ways. By the Middle Ages, Lilith's reputation as a demonic seductress and child killer became more widespread in Jewish folklore. She was often associated with the succubi, female demons, who would visit men in their sleep and steal their seed to give birth to demonic offspring. This idea of Lilith as a temptress, lurking in the shadows and preying on the weaknesses of men, became a common motif in many texts of the time. One particularly striking aspect of Lilith's story is how it has continued to evolve even in modern times. In the 19th and 20th centuries, Lilith began to be reclaimed by feminist thinkers who saw in her story a powerful symbol of resistance against patriarchal control. Instead of viewing her as a villain or a demon, many modern interpretations of Lilith celebrate her defiance and independence. Lilith became a symbol of women's empowerment, representing a refusal to be controlled or confined by societal expectations. This transformation in how she was perceived mirrored the growing recognition of women's rights and autonomy in broader society. Modern feminist movements have often embraced Lilith as a figure who challenges the traditional narratives of submission and oppression that have long been imposed on women. By reinterpreting her story, Lilith is no longer just a demonic figure who preys on children or tempts men. She is also a symbol of the strength and resilience of women who refuse to be silenced or subordinated. This reimagining of Lilith is part of a broader trend in which ancient myths are continually re-examined and reinterpreted to fit the changing values of society. In literature, art, and even pop culture, Lilith has found a new life. Whether she appears as a powerful temptress in Gothic novels, a mysterious figure in contemporary art, or a symbol of defiance in feminist discourse, her legacy endures. As a result, Lilith has transcended her ancient roots and become an icon whose story resonates with people seeking to challenge traditional boundaries and explore the darker, more mysterious aspects of the human experience. So, what does Lilith's story ultimately tell us? At its core, her tale is one of power, freedom, and rebellion against control. Whether as Adam's first wife, a storm demon from ancient Sumerian mythology, or a feminist icon, Lilith embodies a force that refuses to be tamed. Her journey, from the depths of ancient myth to the modern day, continues to inspire both fear and fascination, making her one of the most enduring and complex figures in history. Lilith's legacy reminds us that the stories we tell about women, power, and independence can evolve. Whether we see her as a symbol of destruction or empowerment, Lilith's defiance against the status quo leaves a mark, challenging us to question the roles and rules society often imposes on individuals, especially women. Thank you for watching. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. I request you to support us by liking the video, subscribing to our channel, and hitting the bell icon. This generous act of yours will give us encouragement and power. May God bless you.